Well, good morning and Merry Christmas. It's the Christmas season here at Theotek, and today we're talking about giving good gifts. That's a line from Matthew 7:11. Every good and perfect gift, your Father knows how to give you good gifts, and we know how to give good tech gifts. So we're going to talk about gift giving today, some gift ideas that you might want to get, ranging from inexpensive little stocking stuffers all the way up to something you probably wouldn't even afford or ever dream of giving anyone. But we'll have some fun with this today. We also just want to mention real quick an Accordance update, and so I'll throw that over to you, Rick. I understand Accordance dropped a minor update, very minor it sounds like.
Yeah, let me share my screen here, and because it's mainly a bug fix, and so I'm kind of just pointing everyone to the Accordance blog, where I listed it's primarily bug fixes, but there are a few new features, some improvements to easy install, added UBS 5 support, and so forth. But I would just encourage everyone to just when they launch Accordance, whether it's on the Windows or Mac, just to I'm trying to switch back now, um, just to run easy, not easy install, app update, check app update. And are you seeing my screen now? Yeah, I'm back now, right?
Yeah, you're
Uh,
back.
okay, yeah, just run check for app update. That's in the utilities menu in Windows. Um, it's in the Accordance application menu on the Mac, and it'll just automatically install. And we came out with 11.1, which introduced new features, but there was also a few bugs in it. So this primarily takes care of the bugs that 11.1 introduced. No, I'm not. Yeah, it was 11.1. So this is 11.1.2 is what it is.
Yeah, and I guess I thought it was a bigger update. That's why I even mentioned it. But just a tip, whether you run Accordance or any other software program, if the program has an online update feature built in, use it, set it.
Right.
Sometimes you get some minor bug fixes that have been annoying you, and sometimes you get some major new features and you didn't even know they were coming out. It might be a surprise. So set that up, and usually they'll find that somewhere in a file menu or help menu or something like that. All the different software have it in different places. So that's a tip. Always want to keep your software up to date if possible. And then again, sometimes you don't because sometimes that updates introduce bugs. So be careful with them. But anyway, well, we're going to jump in with our gifts, and as you'll notice, Antoine's over there, so it looks like he's having a good old time. We're going to start with you, Antoine. Antoine Wright is with Mobile Ministry Magazine, and he's also jumped on with a tech consulting firm now. I don't remember the name of it. You can remind me.
Yeah, I also work on with a group called Lightsys. I actually consult with several firms, so Lightsys is just the latest one, but they're a really good Christian organization. Cohort, I say cohort is probably a better word than organization, that helps churches, missions organizations, parachurch organizations with those really hard technical issues. So, setting up server farms, getting Microsoft stuff configured, all the way down to, hey, you have this old Oracle mainframe and you can't get your stuff out. Those are the guys that you call, and those ladies and gentlemen are really good at what they do.
All right,
Yep.
cool. Well, if you could have any tech gift this Christmas, what would it be?
Tesla Model S.
A Tesla Model S. That's quite a gift, isn't it? Uh,
Well, I mean, I drive a lot, I'll be on the road to Philadelphia and to St. Louis this before the end of this calendar year, weirdly enough. And I like the idea of cleaner, not clean, but cleaner transportation. I've had the chance to check out the Model S a lot. There's actually a Model S repair shop around the corner from my apartment. So I see at least a couple $1 million worth of Teslas every day,
Wow.
which is a really good way to whet that appetite. But there's something very um, I'll say almost back to the future, futuristic about having a car that, for the most part, all it does is just tap into an electrical grid, and it's as safe gets. I mean, it dang near drives itself nowadays with the last few updates, and then there's ludicrous speed, which anybody that's a Spaceballs fan can jump into.
And they
Well,
got good music in their commercial here. That's pretty cool.
I saw some Teslas yesterday, Antoine. I was briefly at one of the malls in Indianapolis, and they have a Tesla showroom, and they look very nice. I was tempted to go in there and take a closer look, but I thought, well,
Man,
I can't afford that anyway, so I'll just keep going.
man,
But
if you
I
can,
understand.
I would actually, you know what, just from a techie perspective, Rick, I would say go in and take a look at one. Or if you find an owner, most owners are really amicable to questions about the
Oh, I'm
Tesla,
sure.
what works and what doesn't. And what's more impressive, ask the owners if they have a smartwatch that they use with it, because Android Wear, the Samsung Gear 2 smartwatch, as well as the S2, and the Apple Watch all have watch apps for
Hmm.
the Tesla, and it's interesting what works. It's really interesting.
Can you lay down in the back seat while bad guys are shooting at you like James Bond did that time and drive it? Well, I think he was using a phone, but by now you ought to be able to do that with a watch.
Would be cool. I'm just waiting for the kid come pick me up moment,
Yeah.
Well, that's when I was talking at the top about gifts that you probably would never buy or afford for someone for Christmas, and this was the one because I knew that this was what he was going to share. And hey, they're sharp-looking vehicles, and just style alone makes it a want. But for now, I'll stick with my Honda CR-V. All right. Well, Rick, let's go to you. What's your big want for Christmas this year?
Well, actually, I kind of misunderstood the initial instructions. I didn't know it was a big want. I mean, if it's a big want, yeah, I'll take a Tesla too, Antoine. But I had, I'm actually pretty content. I got my iPad Pro. That was my big want for the year, and I even yesterday was able to finally get the Apple Pencil to go with that. But so I was actually thinking kind of smaller terms. I'm going to share my screen here a second. And what I would like is this red watch band this red sport band for the Apple Watch. Um,
it's really a nice red too.
yeah, it is.
When I saw it when I got my watch, I got a watch too, everybody. See, when I got my watch, I saw that and I said, man, that would be really cool.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's a good red, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I do have the blue. I forget which one they call this. It's a leather.
Oh,
Uh,
you went for that one.
yeah, I do have that
Ooh.
blue, and I've had it a while. But like today, look, I'm wearing a red shirt for Christmas, and so I should have a red watch band with that too. So yeah, there you go.
I went with the gold aluminum and with the blue band, the newer one.
Yeah, yeah,
But that red, it's like the same kind of blue.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's almost like claymation kind of red.
Right.
Yeah, I
It's a
feel
nice
you there.
red.
It's really it's something that fits,
Yeah,
borderline holiday-ish.
yeah. Yeah, and I like red, so yeah, so that wasn't a big one, but sometimes it's I think at this point I've got all the tech that I want. I'm sure there'll be something in January that's new that will tempt me. But yeah, that little red band and that little red band is one thing that I don't think I will actually get unless I just buy it myself because I mentioned it to my wife back a couple months ago, and she said, "Well, send me a link." And I forgot to ever send her a link. So unless she watches this show, I doubt she'll see it.
What do you guys think of these? Sort of the off-brand. Have any of you even seen one or played with one?
I haven't seen one in person, but I look at them every now and then because in fact I thought for the same thing, something like a red that's like that because that's right there is very similar to the one that I have. Of course, I've got the Apple one that costs much more than that blue one you just showed. So yeah, that's what I need. I need you to send me a link to that red one right there. That might be the trick.
That's the thing is that at $40, those are a little bit more than just a, you know, I'm trying to think of what the term for it is. You know, when you go buy something you weren't really thinking that much about it.
Impulsive.
Impulse buy. Yeah, it's a little
Yeah.
bit more than an impulse buy at $40. You know, but they're cheap enough that I'd almost be interested in checking
Yeah.
one out.
That
But
blue
I'm
one that you show is
nervous at that.
exactly what I've got on my wrist, except I paid much more than that because I bought the Apple version.
And
Mhm.
the reviews on Amazon, there's 253 reviews, and the average is 4 stars.
Yeah.
More than half are at 5 star, and then 16% at 4 star. But then you go down here, and there's, you're almost up to 25 at 3 star and below, and that's sort of a bad curve, in my
Well,
opinion.
but the nice thing about ordering anything from Amazon is that you get it and you don't like it, you don't feel like it lived up to its description, they will take it back, no
That is
questions asked.
that is true.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, it's interesting. What in the world's that? Oh, a
Well,
glass screen protector. I don't know
yeah,
that
I
you
saw
really would
those too.
need it. Are they? Mine hasn't scratched even a
No, I
tiny
don't.
bit.
I haven't.
I have a friend who's watched. We were talking. He and I were talking yesterday, and he was actually said, "I'm finally thinking about one," because he got a scratch right across the top of his. Um, it was the one reason why he regretted his sport purchase, and he thought he rather would have done better with the regular watch, the regular Apple Watch. Um, I don't think I'm gonna do one with mine, but yeah, I could understand the idea of doing a screen protector or a Eagles themed band. I
Yeah.
think an Eagles themed band would be great with this gold right here, Eagles green. When you say that works. And
Eagles
then
green. Ugh,
yes,
that's just vomitous sounding. Just the
I
thought
did
of
get
it
app
makes me
I did
puke.
get Apple Care with mine, so I think if I break it, I don't have to pay full price
yeah.
to get it repaired. I have broken many watches from hitting doorknobs. You walk in a room and it's my I guess my wrist is right at that level and a doorknob hits it and I've cracked screens, but fortunately
Hmm.
that hasn't happened with this one yet.
I guess I've been a lot easier on mine. Well, I'm going to go ahead and go with um, my want this Christmas, and it's a want because I would never buy it, having just purchased a
No, you
couple
don't
of
want
things, but I
that.
would love to have a
You
Pixel
don't
C.
want that.
That looks like a nice Android
You don't
tablet.
want that. You didn't read the reviews, did you, man?
The
Well,
reviews have
no,
not
I
been
haven't
kind.
read any reviews, but I saw one unboxing on
Hmm.
video from Leo Laporte. I'm a
Okay.
Twit TV fan, and he liked it. He said it.
I'm
Just
gonna tell you, I'm not usually one to pan a device just for reviews. I mean, I'm usually a little better about it. I was already questioning the Pixel C, but when I read Ars Technia's review, I was, I would tell you to check out their review of it, and you might change your wish.
Well, give me just a summary. What was it that they didn't like that made you say that?
The hardware and the software did not mesh with each other, and the hardware was actually flaky. It wasn't even up to the usual Pixel Nexus standards.
Okay, in what way?
Buttons were flaky, the screen was unresponsive, the sound was muffled.
Hmm.
It was very half finished.
Yeah,
Well,
they do look nice, but Antoine's right. The reviews have not been kind to it. But
okay.
I do like the way they look.
Well, I only saw the one. I haven't looked that closely at it, but I like Android. Android tablets are not as when you think tablets, iPad and Surface are the two best. You can't compare them. They're just so much better than the rest of the tablets out there. And so, an Android tablet is often a sketchy thing. Now that being said, the Galaxy S, the Tab S2,
Hmm.
that's a beautiful device. The problem is Android on a tablet is what the real problem is. The
Hmm.
tablet apps just aren't as good. Everybody's making phone apps for Android, but
Yeah.
most of the developers are not thinking tablet. And the few that are thinking tablet seem to don't make the right choices sometimes. And so, they don't take full advantage of the size of the screen, even when they do say this is designed for the tablet. And so it's a little bit problematic, but I still like it. I still like Android on a tablet. And this looked like maybe one of the best Android tablets that you can buy today. Now, there is an interesting thing if you have a Windows tablet. Um, AMI Duos, is that what it's called? If you remember, yeah, let me show you this. If you are interested in Android tablets, then go give AMI Duos a look. Have any of you run this? This is Run Android Apps on Windows 7, 8, and 10.
No, I haven't done that. I've heard of it.
It's from American Megatrends International. If you remember them from the BIOS, used to make your BIOS for your Windows computer way back in the day. And so it's an interesting idea. I tried to get it to work, and I just didn't have time, so I didn't spend a lot of time. It takes a little doing to get it to really run right, but so it's one idea. But anyway, so that's my choice would be that tablet. That would be my first pick as a gift. If someone bought that for me, I would not be unhappy. But again, I'm not going to go buy it for myself, because if I hadn't already had this would be my choice. This is the Surface Pro 4, and that
Very
is
nice.
an excellent tablet. Generation 3 was awesome, but Generation 4 takes it to a new level in that it's just faster. It's just noticeably faster.
Which one did you get?
I got the one with the Core i5, 256 gigabyte storage and 8 gigs of RAM.
Very nice.
It's just noticeably much faster. The screen is beautiful on this thing. The updated keyboard that
I was going to say, most importantly, what color keyboard did you get?
well, I got the black because I'm not a showy, flashy kind of person,
Yeah.
so I had the purple one for the Surface Pro 3, and the whole time I had it, I was wishing I didn't have it. I was wishing
You
I
didn't
had
get no Packers green. You didn't get a Packers green or Packers gold one, man.
They don't make a Packers green, unfortunately.
I'm sure Amazon has a knockoff one that
I don't. Well, they may. I don't think so, though. I haven't seen one, but so that would be my second choice. But we're not supposed to do second choices. But anyway, so those are our gifts. That just to summarize, if you're looking, get a Tesla Model S, or an Apple Watch Band, or a Pixel C tablet. Those are very, very wildly ranging. But coming down to earth a little bit more than a Tesla Model S or even a $500 or $600 tablet, let's talk about stocking stuffers. You might not buy someone an expensive tablet, or you definitely probably wouldn't buy them an expensive car. You might get them a watch band, even if it is $150. But sometimes you have a friend or somebody that you want to get them something, but you don't really, you love them, but not that many dollars worth, and you want to get them something a little bit cheaper. And so let's look at maybe sort of on the line of a stocking stuffer. This is probably something a little bit smaller, a little bit less expensive. And Rick, you want to jump on first?
Sure.
What would be your stocking stuffer?
Yeah, I've got a couple, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
To show here.
Wait. I'm sorry. We forgot one of our gifts. Before we jump on that, let me share. You go ahead and keep getting your screen shared. I forgot Wes's gift. This is Wes's gift that he would like for Christmas this year. He sent us a video because Wes Allen, who's with the American Baptist Churches of New Jersey, he's their tech guru, can't be here because he's doing work with them today, but he sent us a video.
Thanks, Ken. Sorry, can't be there today. Some pastoral concerns are taking me away from the podcast.
Can you boost his video? Or his audio, rather?
For me, it would be the Raspberry Pi 2. Wonderful kit on sale at for about $70. It comes with the case, the Raspberry Pi, the SD card with the operating system already installed, and the Wi-Fi dongle. So that would be a wonderful idea for me, and I'll probably be turning it into an OwnCloud server or maybe even a new Myth TV server for my own roll your own DVR.
And geeks are cool, as he says at the end there. What do you guys think? You like the idea of a Raspberry Pi?
I just need something to run it with. I still think having your own home server is probably the best solution for most things. Not to diss OneDrive or iCloud or Dropbox or any of those guys, but having on-site backup, on-site storage, and even hacking your own firewall on top of all of that stuff, especially if you've got a family and little ones with curious eyes, those kind of things make too much sense.
Wait, you're muted, Kevin. We can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry about that. I have a cough still. It's nagging, but I have a Raspberry Pi, and I set it up initially, and then really haven't done anything with it. And over the Thanksgiving break, my son, who was on the podcast with us a couple weeks ago, he decided to give it a shot, and so he played with it for a while, and he wanted to do stuff that he needed programming cred to do, and he couldn't figure out how to do that, so he gave up on it. It's one of those things. It's definitely a maker space kind of thing.
Yeah.
If you're a maker, then it's the kind of thing you would love. If you want an out-of-the-box solution, then look something else. But Wes is that kind of guy. He's one of those maker kinds of guys. So he would love that. So that's a nice gift if you know something like that.
Something similar to that, if you don't want to make it yourself, but you want something similar, is that new Kangaroo PC that's around $100, and it's got built-in battery, and so you can carry it with you, and you can plug it into a screen, but also Bluetooth, keyboard and mouse and that kind of thing, and yeah, you can run whatever you want to on it.
Yeah, I saw that too. That looks kind of interesting. I'm looking for the website here to show you, cc, kangaroo.cc. I'm not entirely sold on these cheap Windows computers. It is Windows, right?
I think so, yeah.
But this one has something very interesting. If you're an iPad or iPad Pro user, it has built into it apparently the ability to plug in your iPad and turn it into a monitor for the thing, and that's very interesting. So, that alone makes it something a little bit more than what I thought. But if you see, here's the actual device, and like Rick said, it's $100. So yeah, that would be much more. If you're not a maker, this would actually be a much better solution because you can do some of the same kinds of things probably. Fingerprint reader. Wow, I didn't even know that. And micro USB, micro SD card.
And Antoine was talking about home server. You could take any of these devices, even the Raspberry Pi, and make that into a home server. Because you don't need a whole lot of power in a home server. I mean, I've got a kind of a low-end Mac Mini as mine.
Right. And then it's got this little dock, so you could easily plug. And so that's actually interesting. I might see if I can't get a review unit to play with.
I think the key is knowing what you're going to do with it. This time last year, all of the little small Windows tablets were very popular. You don't see them this year because I think a lot of people bought them on novelty, and then you get it and you think, okay, what do I do with this? So something like the Kangaroo or the Raspberry Pi, think about ahead of time. What exactly am I going to do with this once I get it?
That's the thing is I've bought two of those small Windows tablets, and for both of them, my primary Bible software is Logos Bible software, although I try to use the other ones and do use the other ones pretty regularly, but it just requires too much, and so you're not going to run it on any of those meager systems very enjoyably. This is another one I've seen is the TronSmart Windows 10 box. It's the Windows Mini PC. They have I've reviewed the Aura X5. In fact, I've got it sitting here hooked up to one of the monitors here on my desk, and I almost never turn to it. But anyway, it works fairly well. And again, if all you're looking for is Windows, you're a Windows household, and you're looking for the kind of thing to hook up to a TV set to play videos or even some simple games. It's kind of like an Apple TV or an Android TV, only for Windows. That's kind of the way I would describe it. And it's, I think, the same price, about $100 or $150. I'm not sure.
It's got HDMI, I assume?
Yeah, HDMI, and I'm trying to get the price here. I don't remember what the price was. It has a Cherry Trail Z8300 and has Windows 10 on it. Still don't see the price on here. Where to buy? Maybe that's why, because they're not selling them direct. And they're not going to make it easy to find either, it looks like. Here we go. It's $159.99. So that's a little pricier than it ought to be. I think that other I haven't seen the other one, but that the other one that we just saw,
The
Kangaroo,
Kangaroo.
probably a better option. Looks like actually a much better option, having played with this one. But all right, so let's jump on our. Before I interrupted you to do that, Rick, you were telling us about your stocking stuffer.
Yeah, yeah. Let me switch over to here. I've got a couple of them.
Ooh.
There are all kinds of Apple Watch little docks, and of course docks for phones too. Apple sells some that are very expensive. I like this one. I like this one because it holds both your watch and your iPhone.
I've been
And
looking for just something
yeah,
like this.
and the price is right. It's $15.79. I have and let me show you some of the other pictures here too, and it'll kind of see. So like right here, you run the wire up in the back, and you're actually putting your charger for your Apple Watch right here. So the reason this is so expensive is because you're not having to really pay for anything that's electronic. It's just the stand for it. And now I can't get back to the other picture. Oh, there's one sitting beside a computer. Kind of gives you an idea of scale. But one thing that I'll say in regard to if you buy any kind of stand for your charging stand for your watch, is you want to get one, because a lot of them came out initially, which I don't think are good ones, because with the WatchOS 2.0, when you have your watch turned sideways like this at night,
Mm-hmm.
it can become a desk side clock. Now it doesn't stay on, but you can tap it. In the middle of the night, you
Mm-hmm.
want to just tap it and see what time it is. And it's a very nice clock, and I just have mine lying on the nightstand right now to do that very purpose. But I thought this was a neat little
That's a
stand.
really good idea, Rick. Oh man, I was looking for that like a week ago,
Yeah.
because I was having that idea of getting, if I get a watch, how's it going to sit beside my bed? But that's perfect. Love the
Yeah.
price too.
And I think this is so new that they don't even have reviews on this yet, because it's brand new. I'd gone to the internet and looked at. Oh no, I'm not on Amazon. That's why there's not reviews really. But this is on eBay. I had just gone and done a search for these watch stands because there's so many of them out now. And like I said, I really like this, and so this is one that I'm gonna probably have to. I'm not allowed to buy any gifts for myself before Christmas. This close, but after Christmas, that would certainly be one that I would want to get.
Mm.
And then I have a second one here too that's a good stocking stuffer. My big quandary for the Apple Pencil is where exactly do I put it? Tim Cook said he went to Europe with only iPad Pro, and I wondered if he took his pencil and then how did he carry it? And so what this is it's a little sleeve that goes around your Apple Pencil. It's $14.95, and then it will stick like a magnet on top of. It'll. Of course, they're showing their little stand they make too, but you don't have to have that. With this magnetic sleeve on it, you can take advantage of. I don't know if it's the magnets or just the metal on the iPad, and it will adhere to your iPad. There's a nice one, kind of showing there on the back, and because like I said, I got this thing, and I'm terrified that I'm going to lose it. There's a nice red, so that would be a good way.
Does it say anything about how well it'll stick with the keyboard case installed? Will it still stick to it?
I don't know.
Say.
No.
It doesn't say, but it does.
Because a lot of those kinds of accessories with the iPad,
Yeah.
when you have one of Apple's cases or another case attached to it, it doesn't really work right. I guess it's sticking to the side.
Yeah, here's one where it looks kind of like it's sticking to the side, so maybe that. And here's one
It has
too.
it has an edge to it, so it's not completely circle. If you go to the first image on the list, there.
What's it called? The company?
Moxiware, Moxiware.
Okay. Yeah, I'm familiar with Moxiware.
Yeah, so you can see on the very first image, the multicolored image, it kind of has like a little edge to it. So, like the Surface Pen, it doesn't necessarily roll all the way over, but it looks like that's where the magnet is.
Yeah, and I need to say I don't have this, but I've been looking for some kind of solution like this, and so this kind of intrigued me. And you know, if you don't want the sleeve, you can get the white one, and it just kind of looks invisible on it. So at least
Now,
from the
you
picture.
know what would really be nice for a thing like this, and maybe MoxieWare will be really nice and pay attention to this. But if they have the sleeve that's like this, a lot of folks have complained about losing the cap
Yeah,
at the back of their pencil. It would be really nice if that sleeve was also a cap replacement and it had like a little clip to it, so you know you can have a pin clip, so you can clip the whole thing either onto your person or magnetically onto your device. So it will replace the clip as well as give you the sleeve. Um, that would be, you know, all solutions in one kind of thing.
yeah, yeah. I just like I said, I want to talk to Tim Cook and Johnny Ive and say, well, how exactly are you carrying your Apple Pencil? Because it's just to me, it's an accident waiting to happen.
Everyone's have a wonderful device in their pants. It's called a pocket.
Yeah, yeah, and then it gets bent. I haven't seen Bengate on these, but that's just waiting to happen.
Well, that's how I've been carrying mine. I hate to say, and you know, I can't. There's
I
no.
carry mine in my pocket all the time. You
I've
guys just
got
need to get a wooden pencil. That's what you need. You
well,
need a wooden pencil.
I've got a sleeve. I've got a sleeve for my iPad Pro that does fit the with the keyboard. It's one of the ones that are kind of that gray wool look from Theotek, and there's a little pocket on the back that I think I'll put the pencil in for right now.
Well, I'm trying to find. There's a device that I backed on one of these Kickstarter style things. Maybe it is Kickstarter. I thought it wasn't. That's similar to. It's not like that at all, but it does the same thing. And what it does is it holds the pen by plugging into the lightning port and holds the pen in that way. Then when you take it out, it'll actually let you plug the pen into the lightning port through the device. But it ships supposedly in let's see, is this it? Supposedly in January, but you know, with Kickstarter projects, that means more like May or next October. But it was cheap, so I didn't get too upset about. It was like $14 to back it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not seeing it on Kickstarter either. I can't remember where I backed this crazy thing, but it's that's my biggest thing about the Apple Pencil. It was Microsoft did it right this time. This thing, I mean, it's not coming off.
Well, and truthfully, I'm a nerd. I always just have a pen in my pocket. Here's my Mont Blanc that I carry with me everywhere. This is the equivalent of like an engagement ring. This was from Kathy, to me when we got married, and so that's with me all the time. But I would just put the pencil beside that if it had a clip on it.
Yep. There you go. There's your Surface Pen with the clip.
And when I had the Surface, I put that in my pocket.
I think the Apple Pencil is a case of form over function.
Yeah,
they wanted it to look beautiful in the reveal video.
Well,
they wanted it to function, or it functions great. As when you got it in your hand and you're putting ink to tablet, it's awesome.
Apple values minimalism, but sometimes it's exactly what you're saying. It's form over function. Again, what exactly are you going to do with this thing when you want to take it with you?
Yeah, and that annoys me because I'm not a form over function guy at all. In fact, I'd rather it be ugly and useful than beautiful any day. I mean, it's just it annoys me. But anyway, so let's move on. This isn't a a complaint about Apple podcast, especially since a lot of the stuff we're recommending is Apple related. All right, Antoine, what's your stocking stuffer?
I've got two of them. The first one, it actually caught me by surprise a little while ago. A young man that about 14, 15 years old, who's a techie in and of himself, kid I came across at the YMCA. He had asked me one time about my Bluetooth ear set. And I said, yeah, I got the little TronFi in my ear, a little $12 TronFi Bluetooth headset. And he was like, cool, I think I'm going to get me one of those. And so I saw him a few weeks later, and he said, Mr. Antoine, I got one. but he didn't get the same one that I got. He actually got Tron 5 Mini. Is the name of it. The Tron 5 Mini S530. It's about $15 as well on Amazon, but it looks inconspicuous. So whereas the one I got makes me look like I have a hearing aid, which is absolutely my favorite thing in the world to do to people, to make them think I have a hearing aid. His actually goes into the ear. It actually goes into the ear cavity, which I thought was pretty cool, and it still gets the same 2.5 hours of talk time, the battery life. And it's $15, which I said that's a heck of a nice buy for something that makes you feel like a super secret agent. So that would be the first one. The Tron 5 Mini S530 is the name of that one. And then the second stocking stuffer, we talked about this before, but Wi-Fi Bible. I like this thing. I like this thing so much that I've actually broken mine, and I've ordered another one already. And you say, how did you break it? But all you got to do is remove the little piece right here, and apparently it's broken. It doesn't initialize itself back again, which is something me and those developers are having a conversation about. But for $12 US, 12 to $15 US, somebody can go ahead and serve biblical content, and specifically biblical content for those folks who are from Papua New Guinea and those nearby islands. They can serve biblical content to them, specific auto Bibles, video Bibles, even has several Android applications on them already ready to go. So you can really pretty much set up a church in any moment. All you need is a piece of power. Plug a battery into this, and then it just starts broadcasting, which is really cool. So those are my two stocking stuffer gifts, $15 minimum or maximum. You're still on mute, Kev.
Yeah, you're muted, Kevin.
There we go. I found what I was talking about. It's called the quarter dock, and I'm sharing it now. And you see here's what it looks like blown up. Well, they don't have a real good picture of it, unfortunately. Let me just play this, and if you can see the video. Come on, people, make a big video, a picture, so people can actually see your item. I mean, that's kind of, look at that, little tiny things. They don't want you to see it, but you can tell from it right here. Let me blow it up. There we go. See, it plugs into the lightning, holds the cap, and that's with it, while you're not using it.
That's fancy.
Yeah.
And while you're using it and you want to charge your iPad, you can still, put it down on the desk, plug it in, put the pencil into this little dock part.
And is the pencil charged? No, the pencil's not charging when it's in that dock.
Right, but if you need to charge it, let's see. See, here's how it's showing it when it's in charging mode. So you can charge through it. So I ordered this. It's supposed to come in January, as they said. So we'll see. It used to be a backing, one of those fundraiser deals, but I got it in late, so I had to pay. The full price was $12. $15 with, or let's see, I think shipping made it like $16 or something like that. Why it's $4 to ship that tiny little thing, I don't know. But so that would be I guess a stocking stuffer gift. That's not the one I was planning to show, but since you were talking about that other one. But let's see here. Here's my stocking stuffer idea, and that is a Google Chromecast or the Chromecast Audio.
Yep, I got that on the list too. Yeah.
Here's what you do. You want one or the other, so buy the pair for $55, and you'll save $5 from Google's device store. And you keep one and give the other one away. Or if you've got these already, give them away. I've already got the Chromecast. And it's a nice update. It's not a huge update, but it's a nice update. I don't like the form of it. I wish they had stuck with the old form, but that's fine. It's not that big a deal. You've got it behind a TV, so you're hardly ever seeing it. But the Chromecast Audio, I'm actually probably going to pick one of these up to put over in my fellowship hall at church, because I often will play some music before an event. Maybe we're having a dinner, and I want to play some Christian music in the background, or we just had our Christmas dinner, and so I played some Christmas carols for the 15-20 minutes after the dinner started, that kind of thing. Um, and so that's what I would go with, a Chromecast or Chromecast audio. So I kind of gave you two as well. All right. Well, here's the last part of what we're going to do today. This is we're doing this just for fun. We decided to give a gift to each other. These aren't things we're actually giving one another, but an idea of a gift. And we're recommending a gift to someone else. And we're going to start off with Antoine, who is going to recommend a gift to me. And so, Antoine, I expect you to contact my wife and tell her to buy this, whatever it is that. Without even thought.
Well, see, the problem with your gift, your problem with the gift that I said, the gifts plural that I selected for you, Kevin, is that your wife would really actually like the gift.
So I wouldn't get to use it?
She'd like it a little bit more than you, but I've been thinking, I'm like, Kevin, every time I turn around, he's got a brand new device. And I'm like, how the heck does he store all of this stuff? Because it's impossible to have room for it. So I looked for all of these different storage options, and I found nothing that really hit my mind until I went to the entertainment industry. When I went to the entertainment industry, I saw something that I remember seeing some years ago, and I said, you know what? If it didn't have shoes in it, it could totally have all of Kevin's technology in it. So if you ever Google Paris Hilton's shoe closet.
Can I do this safely?
And I have to admit, her shoe closet is actually pretty dang impressive. And it's got its own little rotating island, and it's really well organized. But Kevin, if I could give you any kind of Christmas wish, it would be to hollow out a place in your home and do like a Paris Hilton shoe closet, but for all of your tech. Now, in the middle of that room, though, I would do something that you could actually do. IKEA has these wireless charging tables that they are pretty sweet. They look pretty nice. I've been to IKEA recently, but I can totally see, you know, a charging table or a couple charging tables in the middle of your shoe closet. I mean, your tech closet. You know, you see, look at the way those shoes are organized. Your technology should be organized just like that. Totally should be organized just like that, man. But that's exactly what I see as like that's the only gift that would actually work and work really well for Kev. Because if I said any technology, he'd have the newer version of it before he got it anyway.
All right, I don't know if I like it or not, but we'll. You say these IKEA? Is there an IKEA store even close by here?
Charlotte has one. Charlotte has one, and then there's one in Raleigh, Durham. And if you actually do make the trip to Charlotte to do so, take the wife. It is literally a date night kind of place to go. That you will spend 3 hours getting lost in IKEA.
IKEA charging table is the other one. I'm trying to find
the IKEA wireless charging table. You can search on that. That'll be like one of the first things that pop up.
My wife would love a shopping date night, but it's really hard on me.
You don't have to buy anything, and the Swedish meatballs at IKEA borderline make it well worth it because they like literally this place is so big it has its own restaurant.
That may be a good idea. I mean, you know, we've gone to the mall, and since I was in my early 20s, I end up with the old men sitting, you know, on the benches and you know waiting for her. But
yeah, I'm not seeing anything quick. I've never been to an IKEA, so I don't.
Yeah, IKEA is as a Finnish store, they're a Finnish furniture store, but they're the ones that make the modular furniture. They basically revolutionized. They took the Model T thinking for Henry Ford's Model T thinking of making cars, and they turned that into making furniture. And most recently, they have started introducing Qi and PMA compliant wireless charging stuff.
But are you telling me it's stuff that I would have to put together?
Some of it is, but it's one of those things where, like, if you spend more than 20 minutes, 30 minutes putting together something from IKEA, then you're doing it wrong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's their instructions are like Lego instructions. It's actually really easy for all of it. You usually don't need any tools or anything of that sort. And the way they set up their showrooms, the IKEA showroom is basically a warehouse on the bottom floor with the different rooms arranged, different areas, so like a kitchen area, a bedding area, office area, with all the stuff that they sell. And they have an augmented reality mobile app that you can actually use in your own home. So you can actually take the IKEA virtual catalog and see what the stuff would look like in your
Oh,
home.
my wife would love that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. What IKEA does is pretty cool. By the way, Rick, I actually had the wireless charging table also as a gift for you as well,
Oh, thank you.
because every time I see you on these, you're at a table. So I'm like, man,
Yeah.
it would be great if this stuff just charged.
That's true.
So, but yeah, those are my two gifts. So Paris Hilton shoe closet and the wireless charging table for Kevin.
Well, in this game of round robin Santa or whatever you call those, where you each someone picks a secret Santa or something like that, I get to give one to Rick. And so, Rick, knowing your love of all things Apple, here is what I have chosen as a really good gift to give you. Is the new Apple TV. You don't have one yet.
Nice. No, I don't.
All right, so this is what I would pick for Rick, is the new Apple TV. I do happen to have one, and I like it so much I would never give it to you. However, if I was buying you a nice $150 or $200 gift, this is what I would pick up for you. The new Apple TV is different in that it runs apps that developers can create. You don't have to wait until Apple is willing to put it in the store. And it has a store. There is an app store.
Yeah. Very nice.
The app choices are still a little meager, but however, all the big entertainment apps that you want are on it, which is my primary reason for wanting it. And so, there's Netflix already, but all the big network TV apps that you find on other devices are there. Apparently, Amazon is going to be shipping an Amazon app for their Amazon Video. I wish it was already on there, because I'm finding that Amazon's video content is almost as good as Netflix, and occasionally you can find it on Amazon when you can't get it on Netflix, which is nice. If you are an Apple ecosystem person, you probably likely already own some Apple movies or TV shows, which makes it a lot easier to watch your content. And then if you're a gamer, you can play video games on it. My experience has been I'm not as much of a gamer, and my son, I pulled him in and said, check out the games on here, and I'll even let you buy up to $15 worth of games, because I want to write about best games for Apple TV. And he couldn't find any that he really liked. I mean, he found a couple that were okay, But see, he's got an Xbox and a PlayStation Vita, so it's going to be hard for him to get real excited about these kinds of games. The remote for the Apple TV is really an improvement and a step backwards. And here's why I say it's an improvement. They're not so slavishly excuse me, tied to the idea of this uber simplicity, so they've added a few keys. I love that it's got this volume up and down button on it. So now you also have your play, your menu button, and then this part up here at the top is a touch screen, and that's where it's good if you really want to scrub through a movie fast. Like, let's say you've watched half of a show or a movie, and you fell asleep while you were watching it, so it went all the way to the end, and you want to pick it up from where the last thing you remember. You can go to it. A 2-hour movie, you can get to an hour and 15 minutes quick, like within seconds. However, it's not as good for the quick step ahead. It takes a little bit of finessing with your thumb or your finger if you are weird and use it that way. But the search feature on it, using your voice, is really nice. And it's like real language. Like, you can say, find all the movies with Kevin Costner. And then you'll say, find his dramas, or something like that, and it'll. You understand what I'm saying?
I need that feature. I need that feature where you say, what did he say?
Yeah, and that's beautiful. The problem is it only works in Apple iTunes Store content. So I use it mostly for Netflix and Hulu and HBO Go, and it doesn't work in those.
But I would think that they could write their app to where it would work with it.
Well, if they can figure it out, I have a feeling that that's a complex thing that's not going to be easy.
Of course, Netflix is hard to rewind anyway. That's always tricky.
Yeah.
But anyway, I really like it. It's now sort of my go-to. I've got all the TV boxes just because I've reviewed them all. I've got the Amazon Fire TV I've got the Fire TV stick. I've got a Roku box, a Roku stick. I've got the NVIDIA Shield TV, which, by the way, if you are a gamer who also wants TV content and you're into Android, that's the best one. It's the best Android TV easily. But I knew Rick wasn't an Android TV guy, so I put him the Apple TV. But for me, I go to this. In fact, I've unplugged my NVIDIA Shield, and I'm likely to maybe try to. I actually bought that one, so I'm likely to maybe try to sell it. Or I might, in a fit of weakness, give it to my son when he goes off to college. But anyway, that would be my selection.
Thank you very much, Kevin, for your imaginary gift. I'm going to send you an imaginary thank you note.
I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, so Rick, your turn. Go.
So I'm giving to Antoine. Is that correct?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Antoine. I thought you are such a good artist. Just a little bit that I've seen, I would give you the iPad Pro with a pencil. Even if you just kept it at home and used it for drawing, because you don't have one yet, right?
A Pro? Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. That might come next year.
Yeah. So I would give you that for Christmas. The other thing that I thought about too was because actually this week your video feed is pretty good, but some weeks it's a little bit blurry, and so I thought about maybe giving you a Wi-Fi upgrade, whether that was routing or signal or whatever it is. I did the same thing for myself this week, where our internet had gotten worse and worse and worse, and it was just a matter of replacing the Wi-Fi router. So I thought about that.
That actually was Theotek has been a reason for the upgrade.
Yeah, I can tell a difference this week. I don't know when you've done that, but
it was about a month ago. But
yeah,
a little more than a month ago, right before Australia, one of those two. But we moved from Clear Wireless to Time Warner, and
yeah, that's what I'm using.
I was able to actually finagle getting about 10 times the speed for exactly the same cost that I was paying for Clear, which is going to be great until Google Fiber gets here.
But again, what I would really like to see is what you could do with that large canvas of an iPad Pro. I'm not an artist, and I have that Apple Pencil. I can just imagine what you could do with it.
I have a friend of mine who's waiting for me to pull the trigger. For that reason, I like the Pro. I see where it fits for my own workflow. I've actually looked at it as a Chromebook replacement, which sounds really weird, but I think the education news from Apple and Chromebooks lately, I think Apple would like hearing that from me. I see where it works. I really do see where it works. I'm actually more shocked at the other folks around me who see the iPad Pro as a viable computer for them. My girlfriend, my mother. For them seeing how they could take advantage of it has been actually a little bit more rewarding than for myself. But I've got some ideas.
Good. I'd like to. I'll be interested in seeing what those ideas are as they develop. So Merry Christmas with your iPad Pro and pencil.
Woohoo!
Kevin, we can't hear you again.
I'm bad about that. I turn it off. That was incredibly generous of you. I am a terrible artist. I'm not just not a good one. I'm a terrible artist. But last night I was like, I've got this pencil, and I was using it all afternoon. I was in a marathon meeting yesterday, 3-hour meeting yesterday, and don't ask. I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, it was a rough one. But I got home and I thought, I was loving using the pencil. I was just enjoying it. Just taking notes, and I thought, well, I want to have some fun, and so I said, I'm going to start doodling, and so here we go.
Wow.
Nice.
And that's horrible, ugly art, but it was just fun and relaxing.
Is that a mountain?
See? Now you guys get why I do it.
It was just
fun and relaxing.
It's supposed to be a mountain, and that was supposed to be a road up the mountain, and then I discovered.
Is that an airplane up there, or a spaceship, and some birds?
No, well, there's some birds and clouds, but then I discovered that the Sketch app, the Adobe Sketch app, has this ability. You pick a shape, and then it will only trace the shape. You can scribble like crazy all over that shape, and that's all it will pick is the shape. I'll try to do it on screen. It's gonna be hard to do.
Adobe has some good apps, and while you're setting that up, let me say Lightroom is now available without a cloud subscription on the iPad, and it's been updated for the Pro.
So you pick a shape up here in the corner, and then just start scribbling all over it. It makes a circle. I don't know if you see that well or not, but
yeah, I see it.
But I left my pencil at home because it doesn't attach so beautifully to the iPad like the Surface pencil does. So, but yeah, that's a really nice gift. And I had a ball just, and I did like 3 or 4. I drew like an overhead intersection, and so it's got this thing where it'll give you 2 parallel lines. And so I did that, and then I made 2 more parallel lines, and then I just erased. I put yellow lines and colored it in black so it looked like a road. And it was probably an hour and a half of just doodling and playing. They're horrible. I'll never show them to anybody except like I just did you. But
And the whole world.
But it was fun, and a lot of times I get my iPad open and I play Risk on it for relaxation because that's my favorite game. Actually, a game called Lux DLX, which is a Risk clone with probably 150 different maps, and I'll just sit there and play that over and over again. I thought, let me do this. This is a lot more fun.
Go doodle. Go somewhere and doodle. That is totally the adult way of relaxing.
Well, I heard Andy Anatko talking about this on this Mac Break Weekly, and he was talking. He's a much better artist. His doodles actually look fairly decent. He says he's not, but he just said it's just a relaxing, fun thing to do, and I'm not doing it to show anybody my art. It's just something fun to do, and it's relaxing, and you sort of have some downtime, and you want to start to decompress from a long, busy day, and so he said that's what I do, and I thought, that's what I'm going to try, and it was just fun.
It's great, man. It's really great. It was some years ago with my iPad 1 that I rediscovered drawing, and I'm very convinced that drawing is very much something that's very core to who we are. It's way more expressive than writing.
Well, and
I'd like to find an app that just kind of gets out of the way. This Adobe Sketch app, you still gotta, it's still clunky and the interface isn't just natural.
Paper by 53.
Paper, but I still haven't quite figured out the colors. How do you? I don't know. It's you and I'll have to talk, and you can help me. Sometime we'll get together, and you can show me how to doodle in paper because I like paper. It looks pretty, but I don't know. The colors are all weird looking. Like they don't have any just normal colors in the color palette. And I know there's some way that you can mix colors. Well, I don't want to do that. I just want to have a bunch of colors pop up, and I tap.
Well, they have. Well, here, real quick. So when you see those 5 or 6 colors, 8 colors on the sidebar there. Just scroll up on that bar, and you'll see all the additional colors that are there.
Okay.
So it took me about 20 revisions of the app to actually realize that there were more than just 8 colors inside of paper.
Okay, tap on the thing and then scroll up.
Yeah, so the list of 8, those circles of 8 colors that you see there to
okay, well there's more, but I don't know. They're all still kind of different. And then I get it. All right. And so whichever tool you pick.
Exactly. And then whatever tool you pick and whatever color you choose, that's the color in your tool.
Okay. And so the tool with the ruler behind it, it colors in blue all the time, but then it changes to your color. What's that tool for?
Oh, because those are for shapes. Because what paper has evolved to, it's evolved to smarter paper, where you can do geometric shapes. If you look at the website, Ben Thompson's website, Stratechery, he a lot of times illustrates his blog posts with images that he drew in app paper. And he used to do everything by hand. He would do triangles and graphs and squares and all that fun stuff. And then paper said, oh crap, there's a really good idea for us to actually make a tool that actually makes decently sized shapes. So the shapes are drawn with that blue hue to them, or red hue.
Okay.
And then it actually makes that shape for you. And then you have the cut tool and the fill tool that actually.
So that's like that shape tool I was using in Sketch.
Right.
Only you don't have the shape on the screen to trace. It just makes it for you
Right. You just go ahead and draw the shape. You draw the box for whatever that shape will be, and it'll draw that shape for you.
Well, see, that's probably how you're doing like your mind mapping, and if you
That's
that'd be a
how.
great tool for mind mapping if you did that.
Yeah, that's a lot of folks are using it for that. I'm still drawing my own circles and lines and connectors, but yeah, totally. That's paper.
Okay, I'll play with it a little bit more. I had never really doodled on my iPad Pro until yesterday. You know, I did just real short, but I mean, never like seriously sat down and said, I'm gonna figure out how to do this with this app and do it for like an hour until yesterday. And so I'm gonna do that with paper now because I think that is a better interface. So,
Well,
and
and
it's pencil enabled, right? It
Yep.
recognizes the Apple Pencil because I remember
Yep.
them saying that they would do that.
and there's obviously something to the therapeutic value of it because Amazon now has like over 2,000 adult coloring books. You know that
Yeah.
they're designed not for children but for adults, physical coloring books. And, yeah.
You should see my wife. She gets these coloring books that are just geometric, like there
Yeah.
are thousands of little geometric shapes in a pattern on a page, and she just colors them in. When we
Yes,
went to
adult.
Ocracoke, we went to they had a bookstore, and they had a whole section of adult coloring books.
Yep.
She bought one, and then we sat looking at the bay, and she colored, and I took pictures, and that's how we in each um, expressed our creative side. You know, I took pictures and she colored. So, and by the way, the iPad Pro is awesome for photo editing. I think Rick
Yeah.
was saying that this week. Photo editing and video editing, it's really nice for video editing. And if you want a good video editor, you know, iMovie's okay, but the Pinnacle Studio Pro is the best editor on the iPad Pro. I've used all of them now, and it is easily the best one. It's the most feature-rich and allows you to import and export to services like Dropbox and Google Drive and things like that.
This past Saturday night, I edited a hour and 15-minute video that I had shot of our Christmas production at church. And you know, getting it on there, I just used the SD card reader for the iPad. Getting it on was easy. It was also easy editing it in iMovie. I mean, there was no lag. There was no. I mean, it was, and just the touch interface worked very well. The difficulty was it resulted in an 8 gigabyte file, and that is difficult to get off the iPad. I was able to do it, but that takes some time and some doing to figure out. So that's one difficulty. The other thing about the photo editing that I mentioned earlier is Adobe. This week allows people to use the Lightroom app for the iPad, and it's been updated for the iPad Pro, and you don't have to have a subscription. And so, you know, what I said was I was going to start using the iPad as my main photo device because there's enough of these corollary apps. I can keep the photos, you know, in iCloud, but you know, I can use Lightroom or I can use, you know, the any of the other Adobe apps in order to edit them and touch them up and so forth. And I think that's easier than what I was doing on my MacBook.
Yeah, Pixelmator is
Yeah, I use Pixelmator.
one of the best photo editors. That's, you know, standalone photo editors. So if you're using iCloud Drive to sync, I would actually suggest Pixelator over Lightroom.
Yeah.
Lightroom is great if you're into the Adobe ecosystem and the iCloud. You don't have to pay for it now, but it's better if you're using that because what you can do is you can create collections on the iPad in Lightroom, and those collections will sync with your desktop. And so you can quickly work with them on your desktop, whether you're using Windows or Mac. And eventually, if you are a very avid photographer, you're going to fill up your iPad. Having the ability to sync them off and keep them in Lightroom is a nice touch. But again, that's only going to be available if you do actually pay for the. But it's $10 a month for the photography subscription. So, you know, $100 a year. In my opinion, that's if you're an avid photographer, you should buy it. Because then you also get Photoshop and Lightroom on the desktop computer, which that's a big learning curve. But if you're an avid photographer or a professional, definitely you should have it.
And let me say, I have 37,000 photos and 780 videos in iCloud Photos. But now I've got it optimized where it keeps that original out on the cloud, and then I'm not sure exactly how it works. I think it keeps the most recent ones on your device, but it will optimize so that, you know, you don't run out of space, and that's working very well.
How many gigs are you subscribing to?
Well, you know, I had the one that was 500 for $9.99 a month, and then they doubled it to where now it's a terabyte. But I'm using about 300 gigabytes right now. So I mean, I could scale it down, but I'll just leave it where it is for right now.
Okay. Well, guys, it's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed doing this. And
One more thing. One more thing.
go ahead.
One more thing. Only because last week, I don't know if I was here last week, but this week, Antoine has become indoctrinated to the Apple Watch Club. So I've jumped in with all of you guys. I picked
Welcome.
up Apple Watch, Wonder Powers Activate, picked up the Gold Aluminum, which was one of the new ones this season with that really cool blue band. I picked it up along with a 5S. I bought the 5S off of Swappa, SWAPPA, for $200, which was an incredibly good price for an iPhone, apparently, since they hold their value really, really well. And I do not believe in having a tablet next to my head, which is what I think the 6S is, a tablet. But I'm so far no clear thoughts. I'm almost ambivalent towards the Apple Watch, but I do see where it can be improved, and I see where it works very well. Having gotten a number of messages since we've even started Theotek today, and being able to triage those just from the wrist has been pleasing. And continuity, because now I have 2 Apple devices, has been really fun to explore. Apple's continuity has been pretty interesting. So that was my quickie. I gave myself an early Christmas gift and got an Apple Watch.
All right, cool. Well, again, as I was saying, we enjoyed this. Being the Christmas season and all, I think the greatest gift you can give anybody, of course, is the knowledge of an eternal salvation in Jesus Christ, which we as believers hold to as our most important thing that we clutch to. And you'll hear it 100 times, but I don't think you can hear it enough. That these gifts and these toys and the gadgets and stuff are fun, but if they ever replace what is really important about Christmas, then we're not doing it right, and we need to keep that in mind. So I sort of throw that on here at the end, but it's really the most important thing that we can message that we can put across. And so I hope you'll do that. I have a new thing that we're going to do this year for Christmas. Instead of we have a tradition where we open one gift on Christmas Eve. Now that the boys are older and understand that how Santa Claus works. In case there's some little ones, that's all I'll say. In case some little ones are watching or listening in the background, that's all I'll say. But this year, what we're going to do on Christmas Eve, instead of giving each other gifts, we're going to give Jesus a real tangible gift. It has to be a gift in some way, and it has to be something that you would not normally give or do. And so, someone can't just say, "Well, I'm going to give some money to church." We've taught our boys tithing, and so they regularly do give money to the church, so they know they can't do that. So we're going to find something. I haven't figured out what I'm going to give yet, but that's what our Christmas Eve is going to be about this year, is giving Jesus a birthday gift. And so I'd challenge you to do something like that this Christmas, to make it special, to remind yourself of what it really is all about.
It's a great idea.
Amen.
All right. Well, guys, thanks for joining us. And next week what we're going to talk about is we're going to sort of make our predictions for 2016. We don't know yet what that form will look like, because next week will be our last podcast of 2015. We won't have one until the second Friday of January, because the first Friday is January 1st. And I don't know if we'll all be hung over, but we all might be tired and sleepy.
I'll tell you, I'll be tired. That's for sure.
I will not be hungover. Let me state for the record.
I can guarantee I won't be. But we'll definitely not want to, take a holiday when we would want to spend time with family, sitting there talking to each other. So, thanks for being with us. This is Kevin Purcell with Antoine Wright and Rick Mansfield. And you saw a little short snippet of Wes Allen a little bit before. I always find this on Theotek.com. If you're on YouTube, then like the video and please subscribe to us. And then if you are listening to this through our Theotek.com website, you can also subscribe through iTunes or almost every podcasting app available in either Android or Apple or Windows because of Stitcher Radio. We're on there as well. Take care. Have a good week, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.